How high can Bitcoin go up this crypto bull run cycle? Okay, I received an interesting question on one of my previous videos. It was left by BG LILL Begill 7475, and he asked, "How exactly are you getting to 10x? The amount it goes up has been less each time. Wouldn't it be 3 to 4x this time?" Okay, BG. So great question. Okay, obviously, as I mentioned in some of my previous videos, last three Bitcoin cycles, Bitcoin has gone up 8,000% the first cycle, then 3,000%, and then 800%. So the returns have been diminishing. But listen, guys, and this is very important. This is why you guys want to watch until the end of this video, because if you watch this video, it can really change your perspective on what Bitcoin is going to do in the future. And also, I'm going to give you guys information that you really can't find on any other channel. So let's get right into it. To answer your question, I'll tell you why I'm getting to 10x, guys. Okay, the reason I'm going to 10x is because simply Bitcoin will increase its gains. And I'm going to explain to you guys why. Okay, there's something called the network effect. So if you guys have ever heard of the network effect, it is basically like how things happen. Okay, so with the network effect, the easy example for you guys to understand would be the internet. Okay, internet adoption was slow at first, right? It was like this, like this, like this, and then all of a sudden it just went we. And maybe 20, 25 years ago, a lot of people weren't on the internet, whereas now in 2024, if you're not on the internet, people think there's something wrong with you or like you've been living under a rock. And the reason this is because, to be honest, people are sheep, okay? If you're watching this video right now and you own Bitcoin, you are in a rare group of people, okay, guys? We Bitcoiners are definitely degenerates compared to the rest of society, okay? Think about it. We have, either a little bit or a good chunk of our net worth invested in the Bitcoin network, which is not that many people, okay? And you guys can try this yourself. You can go out and ask family members, friends, co-workers, acquaintances, classmates, do you own Bitcoin? And chances are the majority of the people that you talk to will not earn Bitcoin. Will not own Bitcoin. So right there, you got to understand that the reason why Bitcoin has had diminishing returns in the past is simply because the amount of people buying Bitcoin was so minuscule, guys. Literally, maybe 3, if not no more than 4% of the entire world's population has Bitcoin. But over 60% of the world uses the internet. So we have 3 to 4% Bitcoin adoption and 60 to 65% internet adoption. Do you see where I'm guys going here? Bitcoin has a long way to go. And I think it's a mistake to look at the past historical returns and say, oh, well, they're diminishing. It's too late. You're just going to get like a 3 to 4x this fourth halving cycle. It's not a big deal. I'm going to tell you guys why it's a big deal. And this is something that I haven't heard any other YouTuber or anyone else, even on CNBC, Bloomberg, I haven't heard anybody mention this, okay? And the important thing is that when the Bitcoin ETFs launched, okay, the first Bitcoin ETFs, they have them in the United States, they have some in Canada now, okay, Hong Kong is planning to launch some ETFs this week. The institutional investors like BlackRock, Fidelity, okay, these big institutional money management firms, they don't want to be poor, okay? Let's be frank, guys. These companies manage trillions and trillions of dollars. And can you imagine the look on their face when they realize that a bunch of guys like us, a bunch of average Joes, guys, just around the way, some of you guys working full-time jobs, some of you guys are even living with your parents. Can you imagine the look on their face when they saw that what we own, our network, our Bitcoin network, is outperforming nearly 100% of their assets? I mean, they nearly, had an aneurysm, okay? All of the institutional investors around the world went in panic mode when they realized that they were slowly losing their control over our money, our time, and our future choices. The matrix is real, okay? I'm not a big conspiracy theorists, and this is not what I want the channel to turn into, but there is a group of people on this planet that want to remain in the 1% rich, and the 99% of the rest of the population, they want us to work for them and make them rich. That's what they believe our entire purpose is on this planet, okay? From age, say, like 21 to 65, these 1% oligarchies, Bilderbergs, and all of these people, they want us to work for them and make them rich, okay? They want to sit on their yacht. They want to fly in their jet. They want to play golf at the country club, while average Joes like you and me and everyone else, we're working 9 to 5 jobs, working our butts off and barely being able to pay our bills. And that was the plan for, basically it's been the plan for centuries, okay? It's always been like that. And this was the first time in human history that the 99% said, hey, wait a minute. What if we change the rules on the rich? What if we all, instead of acting separately and individualistic, what if we all came together and said, you know what, we're not going to necessarily just use these fiat currencies. Guys, nearly every country has a freaking currency. It's not necessary. So what happened is the 99% came together and joined the Bitcoin network, and that just ruined all of their plans. So now these institutional investors said, whoa, we need to own this because we still need to maintain control over the 99%. And that's why I would say, don't necessarily look into the diminishing returns of Bitcoin in the past. The past is the past, guys. These Bitcoin ETFs, what's really going on is when you buy these Bitcoin ETFs, BlackRock, Fidelity, ARK Invest, okay, all of these institutional money managers, they're the ones that own your Bitcoin, which means that they want to maintain the status quo. Now, if these companies, for example, MicroStrategy has over 215,000 Bitcoin. Okay, BlackRock has accumulated over 300,000 Bitcoin since the Bitcoin ETFs have launched. Fidelity's acquired hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. Do you really think that they want Bitcoin to just do a 3 to 4x? No, they want to make as much money as possible. Because remember, they control the Bitcoin because they buy through the Bitcoin ETF, and then they charge the expense ratio. The expense ratio is only 25 basis points or 0.25%. How can they make money if Bitcoin's price doesn't soar to the moon? They need it to soar to the moon to make money. They want it to soar to the moon. They own it. Ever since January 2024, the rich elite, the 1%, have been slowly taking our Bitcoin. If you're going to look at diminishing returns, and that's going to be, that's going to basically be the reason you either do or don't invest in Bitcoin, you're crazy. This movement isn't for you, okay? We're not buying Bitcoin so we can just get returns. We're buying Bitcoin because we're waiting for hyper-Bitcoinization. We need to be able to transact amongst each other without government intervention, without banks controlling our deposits and our withdrawals and basically fact-checking everything and holding our money ransom. And we need the ability to basically transact without the 1% overseeing everything. This is why Bitcoin can soar to the moon. I think even 10x is too small probably, but I'm just being conservative here, guys. Because remember now, these companies, they've been acquiring a ton of Bitcoin. Now the Bitcoin ETFs are launching in Hong Kong. Do you know how much money is in Asia? The last bull run, Bitcoin was soared all the way to almost 70K. That was mostly done from Asia, guys. I'm filming this video right here in Southeast Asia. There is so much money sitting in countries like Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, Korea, even the Bitcoiners that are in China where Bitcoin is banned, they're going to run to Hong Kong and buy Bitcoin. If you guys didn't know, basically Hong Kong is basically like an English colony of China. It's pretty much, it's just an island off the coast of China. There is a ton, there's even more money sitting in Asia waiting to invest in Bitcoin than there is right now in the United States, okay? The majority of the world's population lives in Asia. I've read some estimates. Maybe there's up to 5 to 10 times more capital demand in Asia for these ETFs than there is in the United States. And remember, when the Bitcoin ETFs launched in the United States, Bitcoin skyrocketed. Okay, guys, it ran from, it launched around 50K and then it dipped to 40K and then it ran all the way to 70. So basically, from 40 to 7 based on the US ETFs. And the Asian demand is 5 to 10 times as much because there's way more people living in Asia. Okay, what is the United States population? 300 plus, 300 million plus. Okay, there's billions and billions of people living in Asia. So, man, I think it's crazy to think that the Bitcoin is just going to just do a 3 to 4x just looking at the past, guys. Bitcoin should easily 10x here. So we're looking at least at the top, I would say very conservative, between 500 to 750K, easy. I wouldn't be surprised if it hit $1 million. I'm not joking, guys, because after this halving, the Bitcoin's inflation rate will dip below 1.7. It'll be the hardest money of all time. Okay, it's the inflation rate over time. What the halving really does is it really is cutting Bitcoin's inflation rate. This is the problem that we're facing now, not just in the United States, but all over the world. The inflation is too high. Okay, they say it's at 3.4%. It's bull. We all know prices are way up. Anything you've bought, it's just so much more expensive, even just a few years ago. And obviously, a lot of this is due to like the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. There's a lot of oil over there, but still, it is what it is, right? We're paying more for the same stuff that we used to buy cheaper just a few years ago. So, like I said, I still have my conservative price range of 500 to 750K, but I wouldn't be surprised if we tapped $1 million, simply because there is so much demand, not just in the United States, but in Asia. Okay, a lot of people want to invest in Bitcoin in Asia, but they don't want to buy it outright. They want to invest through those ETFs. So, like I said, if Bitcoin taps $1 million, I wouldn't be surprised. If it tops out at 750K, I would not be surprised either. But a 3 to 4x means Bitcoin will top out at like 210,000 to 250K. That's just way too bearish, guys. These ETFs are a real game changer. And the thing is that a lot of ETF investors, they buy these ETFs in their retirement accounts and they might hold them for 10 to 20 years. A lot of people getting into Bitcoin don't really understand the cycles. They're probably just buying it because they saw that 65, 66% compounded annual growth rate in the last 10 years. They figure, well, if I just buy Bitcoin, I'm going to get 66%, 65% return on my money each year. Why sell it? So when people buy these ETFs, the money might just stay locked into these ETFs. People buy them in their retirement accounts and brokerage accounts, and they just won't touch them. They won't sell. Because ETF investors, man, these guys, they hold their ETFs for years. You just Google anywhere like financial independence, retire early, the FIRE movement. It's based on basically buying ETFs, investing in ETFs, and living below your means and retiring early. So I really don't think the ETF buyers, which is a lot of the older investors, a lot of investors 40 plus that are, don't really know how to set up a cryptocurrency wallet and things like that. I don't think they're going to panic. So I really think they're going to hodl. And like I said, BlackRock and these companies own so much Bitcoin. Why would they want it to crash? They want to make as much money as possible. And they can only make money if Bitcoin soars, and then they charge you the expense ratio, the management fee. So I hope that kind of clarifies things, guys. Like I said, I've seen a lot of positive things. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some more videos looking at charts in the future, especially after the halving. But right now, I kind of wanted to just give you guys enough information to give you a good, solid foundation on what to expect. And then after the halving event, we're going to be taking a more serious look at some of these technical charts and things like that to really see how this Bitcoin moves, because historically, Bitcoin has absolutely skyrocketed after the halving event. And it makes sense because there's just less supply of Bitcoin being released. Right now, there's 900 Bitcoin being released per day. And then after the halving, there'll only be 450 Bitcoin per day. You're going to have millions and millions of people fighting over a minuscule amount of Bitcoin every day. It's going to be crazy. So like I said, guys, I hope this answered your question. You guys have any more questions, leave them in the comments or send me an email. And that's all I got for this video, guys. Take care.